Hello, everyone. Before we start our panel discussion, please allow me to present to you a video showing you a glimpse of the beauty of Argentina and Peru.
Hola, somos Argentina, y si hay algo que nos define, es la diversidad. En nuestros casi 3 millones de kilómetros cuadrados, es posible encontrar todos los climas e increíbles paisajes, algunos declarados por UNESCO como Patrimonio de la Humanidad. A la diversidad de la naturaleza, sumamos la de nuestra gente. Entre 1880 y 1950, recibimos 5 millones de inmigrantes de casi toda Europa y buena parte de Asia. Todos ellos nos enseñaron el valor del esfuerzo y la cultura del trabajo, pero también sus modos de disfrutar la vida y celebrarla. Así que no importa de dónde seas, seguro tenés a alguien cercano en la Argentina. Somos un país sin conflictos bélicos, raciales, religiosos o fronterizos. Y aprendimos a convivir en paz como una sola nación. En Argentina hay también un poquito de Colombia, Chile, Perú, Bolivia y Paraguay. Si discutimos con Uruguay y con Brasil, es solo por fútbol. En nuestro suelo producimos alimentos para 400 millones de personas. Pero también exportamos software, reactores nucleares, helicópteros, biotecnología y videojuegos. Como todos los jóvenes cometimos algunos errores, pero hemos aprendido mucho. Tenemos 2 premios Nobel de la Paz y un peregrino de la Concordia. Tenemos algunos campeones. Pero hay una sola pasión que nos vuelve locos. Tenemos 4 unicornios tecnológicos, 3 premios Nobel en ciencia, 2 premios Oscar y un extraterrestre. Tanta diversidad nos hace creativos, inquietos y emprendedores, y nos gusta compartir esos logros con el mundo. Somos amistosos, sociables y extrovertidos. Y en nuestro asado siempre hay lugar para un invitado más. Somos Argentina, somos la diversidad. Fuimos, somos y seguiremos siendo una nación abierta al mundo.
Peru is one of the Latin American countries with the best economic growth prospects, as well as investment opportunities. Peru is recognized as a country with stable macroeconomic policies, focused on promoting private investment, in addition to effective debt management. This has enabled Peru to achieve the highest GDP per capita growth rate in Latin America over the past decade. Moreover, Peruvian juridical stability ensures a legal framework to encourage the free flow of capital, making Peru one of the major foreign investment destinations in Latin America. Peru is one of the world's 10 economies which have seen the highest growth in the past 15 years in terms of wealth, surpassed only by China, New Zealand, and Colombia. Peru has associated with the world's main economies, promoting trade and investment. Peru has signed free trade agreements with Canada, the United States, Mexico, Costa Rica, the European Union, China, South Korea, Japan, Thailand, and Singapore, among other countries. This has given Peru privileged access to the biggest markets around the world, which represents 73% of global GDP and 92% of global trade. Peru has an investment grade rating and it is expected that its economy will maintain the leadership of economic growth in Latin America in the coming years. Peru is a member of the World Trade Organization, the Pacific Alliance, and the Forum of Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC. In addition, Peru is engaged with the OECD through the launching of a country program in 2014. Peru is also noted for its good business climate and is now focused on developing more infrastructure via public-private partnerships, or PPP. In the past decade, the private investment promotion agency Proinversión has awarded 71 public-private partnership projects with an investment commitment of over $30 billion. These results encourage Peru to develop more infrastructure through the PPP investment mechanism in the following years. Peru offers attractive investment opportunities under a solid framework of stable macroeconomic policies. We invite you to be part of this great country.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first panel discussion of the Indonesia, Latin America, and the Caribbean Business Forum 2021. My name is Amelia Yahya. I'm a news anchor for CNN Indonesia, and I'm so incredibly honored to be a part of this incredible forum as your moderator, especially with a crowd of your caliber. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm indeed very excited to be given the opportunity to moderate this session on enhancing partnership and post-pandemic economic recovery between Indonesia, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Looking back, as we all have seen and experienced since almost 2 years ago, in the initial weeks and months of the COVID-19 pandemic, economic forecasters talked about a V-shaped recovery, a quick bounce back roughly to where we were before lockdowns and quarantines became the order of the day, which shut down much of the world, but things would return to normal as soon as we opened back up. Although several countries have experienced post-pandemic economic recovery in the first half of this year in 2021, it turns out that recovering economically from a pandemic is more complicated than we all thought. There's so many causes. The highly contagious Delta variant of the virus has put a damper on the speed of economic recovery. As also the demand has surged back to pre-pandemic levels, it has contributed to the rising inflation around the world. And also, relatively, supply chain bottlenecks are also slowing the delivery of goods to producers as well as to consumers. Also, amongst the challenges, global economic recovery is expected to occur unevenly due to the disparities of the vaccination process. And also, along with the new normal era, the possibility of the emergence of a third or fourth wave of COVID-19, brace ourselves, also leaves a lot of uncertainty for the economy going forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the session comes in. Together, we'll discuss the development of post-pandemic policies to encourage business actors from both regions to improve trade relations. And then, of course, let us learn from one another. Together, let us delve into the diversification of new opportunities in Indonesia, Latin America, and the Caribbean economic and business cooperation. So to start our panel discussion, it is with distinct pleasure that I shall invite an incredible figure. Her Excellency has more than 35 years of experience in the fields of business development, commerce, international negotiations, foreign investments, and regional development. Throughout her career, she has been concerned with fighting corruption, promoting security, creating jobs, enhancing competitiveness, and promoting public policies that ensure women's political, social, and economic empowerment. Let us all welcome Her Excellency Marta Lucia Ramirez, the Vice President of the Republic of Colombia and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Colombia, as well as the President pro tempore of the Pacific Alliance, to deliver her remarks. Your Excellency, the time is yours.
is an honor for me to send my greetings to the Indonesian business community and also to the business community from some other countries in Asia. And of course, it's a honor to send my greetings to members of Congress, members of government, and of course to the ambassador of Colombia in Indonesia, Juan Camilo Valencia. I would like to say that on behalf of President Iván Duque and on behalf of the Pacific Alliance, because Colombia has the pro tempore presidency in the Pacific Alliance, it is a forum which has the most important influence nowadays, and we would like to have a very active participation in this Indonesia Latin American Business Forum. This year, it's a forum, it celebrates the third edition, and in the search to bring closer and strengthen the economic ties between our region and Indonesia through the promotion of trade, investments, and the creation of spaces and business opportunities for entrepreneurs, not only entrepreneurs from Indonesia or Asia, but also entrepreneurs from Colombia, Latin America, and mostly from the members of the Pacific Alliance, which means Peru, Mexico, of course, Chile, and Colombia. These initiatives, such as the INA-LAC Forum, are essential for our private sectors, for our private community to approach, to have a better knowledge each other, to get know how to carry our business that generates positive impacts on our economies, our business fabric, and of course in the job creation. For us, it is essential nowadays that every single decision that our government takes is focused in the recovery of the economy, in the repotentiation of the Colombian private sector, and in the creation of jobs, of course. Proof of this is the fact that last year, the forum managed to register an increase in transactions of 70 million US dollars, thanks to the development of a virtual platform that allowed to increase the scope of companies in both regions. This year, the forum addresses a fundamental and most topical theme for all our countries, the partnership between Indonesia and Latin America and the Caribbean. Recover together, recover stronger. That's what I mean when I said we have to repotentiate the opportunities for our economies. Undoubtedly, for all of us, it is a priority to achieve economic recovery and reach and exceed the levels of growth that we had before the pandemic. So forums such as INA-LAC are extremely important in the objective to reactivate our economies by promoting businesses. The Pacific Alliance was born as a response to the interests of our countries located in the Pacific Basin to advance in the integration of their markets in order to consolidate a deep integration project that would ensure the free mobility of goods, services, capital, and people seeking to have a platform to promote a joint insertion in other regions of the world, with a special emphasis on the Asia Pacific. In this context, Indonesia, being one of the most important economies of Asia Pacific and an observer state of the Pacific Alliance since July 15, it is in our greatest interest to support the development of initiatives such as the INA-LAC Forum and other activities conducive to the deepening knowledge of our economies, and also in the focus to strengthen our ties in the search for more and better opportunities for our entrepreneurs from both sides. We encourage the utilization of Indonesia's powerful market, which has a population of approximately 270 million people, an expanding middle class, a robust business sector, an economy that in the decade before the pandemic reached an average annual GDP growth of more than 5%, and which shows signs of a rapid recovery with GDP growth of 8% compared to the same period before the pandemic. Indonesia is a country that is increasingly opening up to the world and is a supremely attractive business destination for the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean, and in particular for those of the Pacific Alliance. We admire Indonesia as a success story from which our economies have valuable lessons to learn. We have this commitment to have these strong ties with Indonesia, while we know that this destination represents an important source for our commercial exchanges, and this is a fact that we must continue to encourage and seek to open new joint spaces, spaces to promote and strengthen this dynamic from abroad, and also this dynamic focus in the medium and long term, because we have to maintain this perspective. Not it's only the current situation, is the medium and long term, which shows us how important are the opportunities within us. It is through the efforts to achieve recovery in the post-pandemic where we must make use of those opportunities offered by technology, using them to bring our entrepreneurs, both large companies and also small and medium-sized enterprises, and thus take advantage of the multiple opportunities offered by our markets on both sides of the Pacific. Digital has become essential, necessary for this new post-pandemic period in which we are entering, and understanding this from the Pacific Alliance, we are committed to continue promoting a digital agenda through meetings such as the one that calls us today, but also through the digital economy. We have to improve the productivity in all the economies. We have to improve transparency in all the procedures within government, in the relation between government and citizens, because we also need to strengthen the confidence, the trust between citizens and government and states. We are expanding all our efforts to cover the issues of science, technology, innovation, and those are key to developing the necessary knowledge that will allow us to have concrete solutions to the challenges of the pandemic and facilitate our approaches. The Pacific Alliance has assumed the commitment to promote a regional digital market whose roadmap for its implementation was signed last April 30th within the framework of the celebration of our first 10 years. This allows us to move towards the development of a more robust digital infrastructure, the creation of a more conducive environment to promote more and more trade between us. And of course, this digital focus means of goods, products, services, and above all, to boost the development of the economy and digital skills with a view to generate new sources of growth and productivity, as I mentioned before. Together with the private sector, we have to strengthen telecommunications infrastructure in Chile, Colombia, Mexico, and Peru. And this has allowed us to connect millions of homes and business to fiber optic networks and drive the digital transformation of the regional economy, which also allows us to be connected to Asia from our companies at all levels. In line with these important efforts regarding the digital agenda of the Pacific Alliance, I believe of the utmost importance to point us how the rise of a digital economy will also facilitate the development of the creative digital in different opportunities in the economies in each of our countries, members of the Alliance. The development of a creative economies is a high priority issue for both Colombia and Indonesia, and a vehicle for the economic recovery of all our countries. All of this has been key to increasing trade flows within the bloc, which has become a growth level for our economies at a complex time for the world. Colombia, in its capacity as a pro tempore presidency of the Pacific Alliance, has established among its priorities the consolidation of cooperation tools that provide valuable fruits in the deepening of relations with Asia-Pacific partners, which promotes efficiency and take advantage, of course, of the opportunities offered by the joint relationship for both our partners and the members of the alliance. We are convinced that this activity will allow us to enrich and expand ties, incorporating new relationships with the purpose of favoring the interests of our countries. This promising meeting, which we are witnessing today, with pleasure consolidates the closeness between the alliance and Indonesia and opens new paths on the path that we have started together since 2015. Now, as you know, Singapore became a new member of the Pacific Alliance. In December, we will give the presidency pro tempore to Mexico. And the commitment that Colombia have is to enlarge this Pacific Alliance with some other states which are very eager to become members also. First of all, Ecuador. Ecuador is working very hard in order to participate in our alliance. We also have all this process of negotiations with Australia. Korea, South Korea is a member that we would like to have as a part of this alliance, and of course, Indonesia. So we would like to work together with the Indonesian private sector, with the public sector, with officials from government, in order to maintain this commitment to strengthen our relations and to bring more opportunities for the citizens of all our countries. Thank you very much for this opportunity to participate with you, and thank you again to the Colombian Ambassador, Ambassador Valencia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice President Marta Lucia Ramirez. And next, ladies and gentlemen, please also allow me to welcome Her Excellency Dr. Carla Natalie Barnett, the Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, to deliver her remarks. Dr. Barnett is a national of Belize and is also the first woman and the first Belizean to be selected for this incredible post. She's also served as the Financial Secretary of Belize and Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Belize. Dr. Barnett, the time is yours.
Honorable Ministers, representatives of regional and international organizations, Madam Moderator, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from the headquarters of the Caribbean Community. Let me begin by thanking the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia for its foresight in initiating the Indonesia, Latin America and Caribbean Business Forum. Indonesia and the Caribbean Community have had formal relations since 2018, an acknowledgement that in an increasingly complex and unpredictable international environment, South-South cooperation can provide opportunities to advance mutual interests. Although economic relations between Indonesia and Latin America and the Caribbean have come a long way, the current relationship does not reflect the true potential. Realizing this, Indonesia organized the first Indonesian, Latin America, and the Caribbean Business Forum in 2019 to boost trade and investment between Indonesia and Latin America and the Caribbean. More than 200 participants attended the 2019 Business Forum. It is estimated that the value of business deals agreed during the event reached US $33 million and resulted in US $5 billion worth of investment opportunities, particularly in the mining sector. In 2020, a total of 533 participants, 490 virtual and 63 physical, took part in the forum, with an estimate of US $85 million in business deals. This year's business forum, in addition to generating trade agreements and investment plans, should also produce several cooperation agreements that will support the development of trade infrastructure of the two regions. Chair, according to the International Monetary Fund, Indonesia is currently the 16th largest economy and is positioning itself to move into the top 10 economies in 2021. As the world's largest archipelagic country, with the fourth largest population and the third largest democracy, Indonesia has made enormous gains in poverty reduction, cutting the poverty rate by more than half since 1999 to 9.8% in 2020. The Latin American and Caribbean region covers an extensive area extending from the Bahamas and Mexico to Argentina and Chile. The region possesses great economic potential with a population of around 652 million people and GDP of US 4.84 trillion in 2020. Despite those potentials, the total trade values between Indonesia and the region have only reached US 6.7 billion, or less than 0.4% of the total trade values of Latin America and the Caribbean. In 2020, Indonesia's exports to this region declined by more than 12%, while imports fell by almost 14%, reflecting the negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, we see an increase in the first half of 2021, indicating that economic relations between Indonesia and the Latin American and Caribbean region can be enhanced, even in the midst of a very challenging global economic situation. Indonesian investment remains concentrated in the Latin American and Caribbean largest markets, especially Brazil and Mexico, but very few inroads have been made in trading with English-speaking Caribbean. Instead of only trading commodities, Indonesian companies can invest directly in our region, thereby helping to expand, secure, and add value to their supply. Indonesia can also provide manufacturing expertise and in the process circumvent trade barriers and make their products more competitive by adapting them to our consumers. Latin American and Caribbean companies can go beyond exporting commodities and capitalize on agricultural advantages, and can also use FDI to take advantage of Indonesia's lower labor costs to improve their access to Indonesia's manufacturing market and increase their understanding of Indonesian consumers. Further, the application of digitalization emerged as a natural response to cope with social distancing and restrictive measures amidst the pandemic, and accelerated the adoption of e-commerce to spur economic growth. However, it also highlighted existing challenges to bridge the digital divide and ensure the growth of e-commerce reduce inequalities rather than accentuate them. Just as digitalization allowed countries and businesses to overcome distance during the pandemic does present an opportunity for Indonesia and the Latin American and Caribbean region to realize the potential of regional and international cooperation in digital matters, address common challenges strategically, and learn from best practices. Latin America and the Caribbean in particular must accelerate digital transformation to allow businesses and consumers to adapt to the new normal and leverage pandemic recovery to create stronger economies. Indonesia and the Latin American and Caribbean region face critical policy challenges going forward. Governments, the private sector, civil society, and international development partners all have a part to play in taking concerted action to advance consistent, long-term, and sustainable commercial ties. I therefore look forward to a fruitful discussion by the panel on how we can enhance this partnership as we seek to recover from the economic crisis created by the global pandemic. I thank you.